But I'm feeling that way, and that's why the markets have been rather interesting this year. Most people were anticipating a pretty horrible January. That's not what happened. It was hard to lose money in January. If there's one silver lining on this whole FTX thing, it's the fact that it poked the bear in Washington. So my guess is, Danielle, and I bet you I'm going to be right on this, within 3 years, you're going to see that all of these rogue players and these unregulated, decentralized, exchanges and all this crap is going to be gone. And the players that are here today won't be around because they don't know how to make money in a regulated environment. Bitcoin's never going to go away. Crypto is software. There's nothing nefarious about software. Software didn't do anything wrong. It's the people that were abusing it, misusing it, and frauding with it. And the bad actors, they're going to be gone. I look at it this way. If you look at the frequency and the size of these hikes, now we have 25 basis points, and the market is widely anticipating another 25, then maybe one more 25. So no matter how you look at it, in hedging your bets, we're 2/3 through the process. So we're in the back end of hikes. Now the question is, do we get a down print on payroll anytime soon? The minute you see that, the Fed will pause. And so there's a chance, and it's no better than 50-50, that this is the last rate hike for a while. And that's what the market's anticipating. So you're going to see a lot of fibrillation on valuations, both on fixed income and on equities, trying to determine is that and was that the last hike, or is there more to come? Now, what we don't know yet, because earnings reports have been pretty good, the print from Meta yesterday was nothing less than phenomenal. And so at the end of the day here, we haven't really seen the grind into the market of lack of momentum in sales and then margin and then earnings. That's anticipated to be coming. So I think it's going to be very interesting this year. My anticipation for terms of what we'll get in returns are going to be around 6% from equity. And I'm talking the whole year. And another 2% from div yield or distribution. So an 8% year, which is kind of right in the middle of what you anticipate. It's because they haven't seen a down print on payroll. They haven't seen any slowdown yet. Although CPI has come down a bit, which is good. But I think the thing that they're looking for, and certainly Powell talks about it enough, is payroll. It's a very competitive environment now. Try and hire people. We still have a hard time hiring for the positions we have open. So we haven't seen that slowdown yet. So I think he's more focused on payroll than anything. That's why I say if there's a slowdown on payroll, at least one down print, I think he pauses and waits for the next payroll. I think there's a chance that it could be the last one. I didn't say 100%, but I'm feeling that way, and that's why the markets have been rather interesting this year. Most people were anticipating a pretty horrible January. That's not what happened. It was hard to lose money in January. What I've learned is consumers still have fat wallets. They still have a lot of cash sitting around. They were prudent in terms of all the freebies they were giving out. When we talk to new recruits in their early 30s, people that have already had one job now moving, they have a lot of demands. 40% of them won't work in an office, particularly in infrastructure work or in accounting or payroll or logistics or compliance, those departments. I'm just interviewing a third round for more financial analysts. I found 2 great ones to add to O Leary Ventures. We need them for this North Dakota initiative. Not a chance they're coming into the office. And these guys are, and this one woman, one guy, they've never worked in an office. They don't even know what that means. And so there's a whole new tonality to the workforce that I don't think everybody's adjusted to yet. FTX turned its own page. The judge has told everybody involved to stop talking to each other. So we're not going to hear a lot of news out of that. If there's one silver lining on this whole FTX thing, it's the fact that it poked the bear in Washington. And so I think what's going to happen here is we're going to be in a much better place within 12 to 14 months because it's a bipartisan effort. Finally, we've got people that are saying, look, we got to stop having these companies blow up. Since you and I last talked, Genesis filed for bankruptcy. They're going to keep going bankrupt because they're so full of rogue players and no-do-gooders and, fraudsters and all this stuff. Everybody's tired of it. It's just setting back the potential of what crypto and digital payment systems can be. So my guess is, Danielle, and I bet you I'm going to be right on this, within 3 years, you're going to see that all of these rogue players and these unregulated, decentralized, exchanges and all this crap is going to be gone. And the players that are here today won't be around because they don't know how to make money in a regulated environment. It's going to be the new disciplined players that come out of the banking system that run the crypto markets, and they'll work within compliance, and it'll be something that'll grow. And I believe we'll still become the 12th sector of the S&P. But I think our rogue days are behind us. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5 more bankruptcies just to clean it out with all the terrible managers and fraudsters. They'll all be gone. Then everything else will be cleared out, scrape like a patina, all the garbage will be gone, and then we can move forward. I don't think SBF is allowed to talk to anybody anymore, nor any of the management of FTX. The judges shut all that down. The narrative is really about what's going on in the 1.2 billion plus 400 million plus 4.2 billion. These are the amounts that have been found in various jurisdictions. Everybody's talking about, okay, how do we allocate that now to the account holders, the equity holders, if anything? So, I think FTX is behind us. Everybody kind of knows what happened there. I don't think you're going to hear much out of it for a couple of years. I think people are looking at these lawsuits the SEC just put on. They're suing a few of these exchanges. Justice is after a couple. There's some audits going on. Genesis bankruptcy. There's always going to be someone going to zero for a while. So I think the narrative, the market's not even looking at that stuff anymore, Danielle. What's going on are people are focusing on AI. Yeah, I know Charlie's position on it. I love that guy because he's a cash flow guy, but that's never going to happen. Bitcoin's never going to go away. Crypto is software. There's nothing nefarious about software. Software didn't do anything wrong. It's the people that were abusing it, misusing it, and frauding with it. And the bad actors, they're going to be gone. I mean, I agree with making them illegal, but not the actual technology, which is very advanced. I'll give you a use case that I think you'd appreciate. This just happened to me this week. So I'm a big watch collector.
Oh yeah.
And there's a new hot watchmaker that just emerged in Switzerland named Simon Brielle. He is smoking hot. He made 12 production watches and then 5 special prototypes.
Easy.
Now I have to transfer the capital, which is material. Now get this. The SWIFT system, I take US dollars. I got to transfer it to a bank in Zurich. 3 days.
Right.
They got my money for 3 days. They're not paying me any interest. Then I got to transfer the USD into Swiss francs. I get clipped 20 basis points there. And then I got to pay Simon. I'm getting totally screwed. And so that's why this innovation is going to happen. And I'm just one use case. But the point is, these senators, these governors, now Toomey has retired. We knew he was carrying the digital football until Jan 3rd. Now we have Haggerty's team. He's picking up the baton, and I think he's going to become the go-to senator, kind of hockey sticking through the House. So I'm hoping that we'll get some policy in the next 9-12 months. We'll see. So we are at 38% cash, yielding about 3.2 to 3.8% depending on duration. That's a pretty high amount for us right now. We also put on a 4% Bitcoin position starting in the mid-November after the FTX debacle. We had to reestablish some positions, but obviously we put them up in Canada under the OSC jurisdiction, which is a completely compliant platform called BitBuy. That's where I hold it. And that is one of my best performing assets. We were buying at just sub 17,000. Here we are at 23. It's been a great performer. Everybody has their own opinion about of any of the cryptos actually. But I think now is a time to be very careful with crypto because Bitcoin, you don't have to have 32 positions. You can have 6 and you get the same volatility. On equities, I'm a little more cautious. I won't buy anything now that doesn't have positive cash flow on all 11 sectors. Bonds were terrible last year. We're tiptoeing into short duration, triple B and above a little bit. I think you got to keep your powder dry. I'm kind of in that Ray camp. 38% cash is a lot of cash. The big decision I'm trying to make today is how much of this chat, AI do I want to buy? It's a smoking hot deal. The valuation's crazy, but I think I have to participate. I think there is very little chance that he is around, much longer than the end of this year. There's a fatigue, a Trudeau fatigue that you find, and this happens to many prime ministers that outlast their they're welcome. I don't want to have any. He's been a very, very successful politician, no matter how you look at it, just in his tenure, how long he's lasted. He, in my view, is the worst manager Canada has ever had. The worst. The absolute worst. There is no one as bad as he's been. And I don't mean that with any disrespect. He's just a terrible manager. He's completely unqualified to be the CEO of Canada, which is what the Prime Minister is. It's so important that he is gone. We need to thank him for his service, and I do not disrespect him or his office, but it's very important that he is gone. Very, very important for Canadians. We are the richest country on earth run by idiots.